Hello and welcome to your next class of Decoding PSIR through Answer Writing series, a class where we take up previous year questions of PSIR, study that topic in detail first, then try and answer that question so that you can revise also and then you can learn some new things as well in PSIR. This is especially for those who have taken PSIR as an optional subject or those who plan to take PSIR as an optional subject. Before we begin today's class, a very important announcement, that is, I will soon be launching right after prelims examinations a comprehensive course of PSIR optional where we will be completing in live classes the entire syllabus of PSIR. It will run about 4 to 5 months, about 350 plus hours. I will be giving you the entire study material in PDF form, so you don't have to read any books as such. From the beginning till the end, we will cover each and everything, including previous year questions like we have been doing here, how to answer them. I will also be providing one-on-one mentorship to help you that you gain as much mastery as possible over PSIR. I'll be launching more details about the program soon, about the exact date, the fee structure, etc. Till then, if you have any questions, please feel free to mail me here at harshmeetsir@gmail.com. This is not for those who will be writing mains in 2024 because we'll be completing the syllabus much later. So if you are planning for 2025 attempt or later than that, then it is suitable. For 2024 mains, we will not be able to cover the entire syllabus before the mains exam begin. As you know, the mains exam begin on the 20th of September. With that out of the way, let's begin with today's session. So today, this is a previous year question that we have taken up from 2015. Again, a question from the topic of rights. As you know, paper 1 part A. If you look at the syllabus, one of the important topics is rights. We had already discussed about different types of rights. We've already discussed different types of topics from rights. Today, we'll be taking up natural rights. The question was asked in 2015, 10 marker question, 150 words was the word limit. The question is, comment on the idea of natural rights. Now, if you read about rights, the idea of rights is simple. What is the guarantee that you have been given the state will not do against you, or against the state action, what guarantees you have been given? Those in simple terms are called rights. There are different types of rights. There are human rights that we have talked about, there are legal rights that we have, and then there are natural rights. Natural rights, as the name suggests, means those rights that were given to you by nature. Meaning that the government did not give these rights to you. No contract was signed between the government and the citizens where the government said, okay, I'll allow you to do this. No, the government did not give these rights to you. Because these rights were given to you by nature, that means the government cannot take them away from you. This is the theory of, or the idea of natural rights, that because they are nature given, or in other words, you can say God given, the nature only can take it away and not the government, because the government in the first place never gave these rights. That is the idea of natural rights. So again, no right or authority of the government to take it away. These have to be basic, given to everyone. So these are the most basic of the rights that everyone should have because of what nature has given to us. This can be about right to movement. This can be about right to life. These things are not given to us by the state. That is the theory. Now, whenever you talk about natural rights theory or similar theories such as liberalism, which are related to it, that talk about people's freedom to do stuff, you have to mention the role of people such as John Locke. Just like he's the father of liberalism, he was also a great supporter of natural rights. Because see, these two things are connected to each other. Those who believe in the theory of natural rights, those who believe that yes, nature has given you certain rights which the government also cannot take away, where the government also should not interfere. That is what liberalism is also all about. So liberalism, natural rights, these are connected to each other. So a thinker who believes and propagates the idea of liberalism would also propagate the idea of natural rights that we see in case of John Locke. And then there are other thinkers such as J.S. Mill, who gave a lot of importance to natural rights. Specifically, he gave a lot of importance to the right of freedom of speech and expression, where he talked about how these rights specifically are extremely important and should not be taken away. Now, let's see, what do we have to study in this topic first? So first we'll read about what exactly do we have to know about this topic, and then we'll try and answer and write an answer to this question. So natural, as I said, is a philosophy that says human beings have some intrinsic values that have been given to us by nature. The government cannot interfere in that, government has not given it to them, and the government cannot even take it away. This allows the people to be rational in their behavior. This allows the people to take the best possible decision. Now, usually when you talk about natural rights, there are two theories around natural rights. First is a contractual basis, and second the teleological basis. Contractual basis basically simply means that origin of the state may be from a social contract, but the rights that were given to us were much before that. We were given these rights in the state of nature. If you have read PSIR on your own, even if not the entire topic, you would know about the state of nature. State of nature basically means a situation wherein there was no government, there was no state. So when there was no state, no government available, that situation is called the state of nature. So it is believed that the natural rights existed much before the governments came into being. That is what this theory believes, and that is why it states that these rights have been enjoyed by man even in the state of nature before the formation of any civil society. And because they are so important, they came into being before the state, they have to be respected by the state, and the state cannot take it away. The second theory related to it is the teleological basis. Now, what is this? Teleological basis means that the idea of giving certain rights to individuals by the nature has a much bigger purpose. It is not just about allowing people to move freely. It is not just allowing people to move around. It's not just allowing people the freedom to exist. No. As per this theory, as per this basis, there is a much bigger aim attached to it. There is a much bigger idea to the theory of natural rights. For example, they say that it serves a much greater purpose of what nature wants to achieve. This is not just about giving freedom to the people, and because it is serving such a great purpose, again the government should not interfere in that. So both of these theories, be it the contractual theory or the teleological basis, both of these agree to the fact that the government cannot interfere, agree to the fact that these rights have not been given by nature, rather they have been not given by state, rather given by nature, and thus both of them believe that there should not be any institutional arrangement to take these rights away. If you look at some of the biggest revolutions that have taken place in our history, French Revolution, American Revolution, these revolutions, the idea of most of these was on the basis of natural rights. Because if you look at the history, let's say 14th, 15th, 16th century, 17th century, countries such as France, UK, they were under the rule of the monarch. There used to be kings who used to take all the powers in their hand. Why? The idea that the kings used to propagate was that we have the divine right to rule. The rulers used to say that we have been given the divine right. The God has chosen us to rule over you. You don't have any right of your own. We will rule over you. That was the idea that was propagated by the monarch in France, in England, etc. And to counter that, to protest against the rule of the king, to protest against the rule of the monarch, started this theory of natural rights. In fact, it played such an important role in the American Revolution that in the American Declaration of Revolution, or in the American Declaration of Independence rather, there is this entire paragraph talking about natural rights, talking about how these are important. Now, there's a very famous line here. It says, all men are created equal and they are endowed by their creator, that means God, with certain inalienable rights. Now, this inalienable right means rights that cannot be taken away by anyone, which include life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. So, natural rights basically find such an important place even in the Declaration of Independence of America and other revolutions as well. Now, one of the interesting parts here is it is difficult to define what are natural rights because they have not been given to you by the government. So, how do you define that? Because they have not been given to you by any contract. So, how do you define that? The problem here is, for some people, natural rights may include many other things as compared to others. I'll give you an example. Talk about Aristotle. If you read about Aristotle, Aristotle was one of those people who had supported the concept of slavery. He thought that slavery is good. Slavery serves both the purposes. It serves the master as well, because master gets someone to share the work. It serves the slave as well, because slaves otherwise would not know how to take important decisions in their life. So basically he propagated the idea of slavery. Now, if you believe in theory of natural rights, you would say that, oh, the slave also has natural right, the natural right to freedom. How are you just forcing the slave to become a slave? On the other hand, Aristotle would say that no, this is a natural right given to the master as well, that master should have someone to work properly for him, and that is how the society structure is built. So the definition of natural rights is extremely difficult to achieve, because different people have different views. Also, some people you might have heard people say man is naturally superior to women. That also becomes a problem. How do you contest with that? That if someone believes that out of the two genders, one gender is naturally superior, how do you manage the expectation of natural rights? And that is why the theory of natural rights also has evolved from time to time. There are people who still believe in natural rights as a dynamic concept, that it cannot be fixed, it has to be different depending upon circumstances. But again, what may be considered as legal or valid 300, 400 years ago in the name of natural rights may not be legal today. What is legal today may not be considered as legal after 400, 500 years. That is how we evolve. And that is how the theory of natural rights also evolves. This is what you needed to know about natural rights. And now you are free and capable enough to answer this question. So the question was a short note type, 150 words, comment on the idea of natural rights. So this is what you will have to write here. Now let's see, how do we write here? We will first explain this by what do you mean by natural rights, and then we'll talk about its connection, as I said, with liberalism, and how people such as John Locke, who proposed the idea of right to life, liberty being intrinsic to human existence, how they have supported the idea of natural rights. I gave you the name of John Stuart Mill, that is J.S. Mill also, who talked about freedom of speech and expression being an extremely essential part of the natural rights. Then we'll again conclude by giving examples of certain other authors, certain other thinkers who have talked about natural rights. For example, there have been some people who have been against natural rights as well. Thomas Hobbes, against natural rights. Why? Thomas Hobbes, as you know, was a supporter of Leviathan. He was a supporter of the fact that when social contract is signed, all the powers of the local people, all the powers of the common people should be surrendered. All the rights should be surrendered to one single authority who would have all the power. So obviously people such as Thomas Hobbes, who believe in one single person having all the power, they don't believe in natural rights. Similarly, Jeremy Bentham had famously said that natural rights are nonsense upon stilts. Basically that means that natural rights that don't have any legal backing, where you can't go to the Supreme Court, where you can't go to the court if someone takes it away, those are not rights. That will create vagueness, indiscipline and chaos. So again, these are certain other contrasting statements, and that is how we will conclude about how natural rights are important and they have contributed to improving the level or improving the status of human life around the entire world. This brings us to the end of this class. I hope you learned something new today. Again, reminding you, the PSIR comprehensive course will be launched soon after prelims examination. I'll reveal more details in the coming days. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Jai Hind.